Welcome back everyone to some arena breakout, and today for you guys I'm going to be showing off my favorite weapons as well as modifications in the gunsmith. So let's get to it. So we are in the gunsmith right now, and there are tons and tons of weapons, from assault rifles to carbines to snipers to pistols to shotguns. There are tons of weapons in the game, and some of my favorites right now are going to be the M4A1, a very powerful assault rifle. It currently has 800 RPM with basically a rate per minute when it's shooting bullets, as well as its fire mode semi and full auto. Its base is not horrible. Vertical recoil 65 as well as the horizontal recoil as 45. Not too bad for a base weapon. I don't really have much builds for this current weapon. It's pretty hard to mod for this one, but this is one that I found that's pretty nice right now. I always like doing solo, so I basically always have like a 60 round mag and a 30 round mag. The lightweight grip, this one does increases his ergo as well as hip fire. I do love the 3.5 scope. I switch in between either the 4 or the 3.5. I also do enjoy the 2 times as well on this gun. This is just the 2 times or even like the 1.4, but mostly I switch in between either the 2 times or the 3.5. I do like that scope a lot. For this one, I do like having a flashlight on it. I switch in between. Not all the time I will run a flashlight on this gun as well, but most of the time either a flashlight or like a laser or whatever the case may be. Also with the hand grips, I do like the tilt. I do like tilt a lot. I switch in between the tilt or the vertical grip as well, but I do enjoy the tilt a lot. That's like my most used hand grip, to be honest, depending on the gun. This is definitely one that I actually enjoy a lot for basically all the guns that can carry the tilt. With the receiver, nothing too great. I just prefer this one over the other one because it seems like it's a little bit more compact in a way. So that's why I like having that one. With the barrel, I like the longer range barrel, especially for the longer range maps. As well, like Northridge and Valley. Sometimes even Farm, I don't mind having the longer barrel. With the smaller maps like Port and TV, as well as those other maybe also Armory, I would prefer sometimes the shorter barrel, especially if I'm fighting in bunker as well. So that's just my stock base, my build for my M4. I also have this barrel here as well, the extended barrel. I also do like the AR Intel, but most of the time I just run these ones because it's pretty. It does help out with the vertical recoil because sometimes the recoil can be a pain sometimes for this gun. So let's move on to another gun. Okay, so moving on to the MDR, another weapon that I really like. Um, its base MDR is not hard, it's not that good to be honest, especially with the horizontal recoil. But I do like this gun a lot, especially when you build it to a decent way. Because for right now, you can control the horizontal recoil a bit. I currently do not use gyro, so I'm pulling down a lot. Maybe if I use gyro, or even if I do a better build, maybe I'd be able to control this one. But this is one that I found that I can control a lot, and I do love the MDR a lot. I currently still, like I said, I use the tilt as well, and I like the silencers on like majority of all the weapons. I do like the silence of it. Is aesthetically pleasing. That's what I like to have the silencer on it. Most of the time I don't always run a silencer, but 99% of the time I do run a silencer. So that 1% is like if I don't feel it running a silencer. But for right now, I do like the silencer on the guns. For this one, I do have the 30 round mag on it, but most of the time I do run a 60 because I run solo against squads, and sometimes I'm able to drop the entire squad, and I drop 3 and then die to the last. That's pretty usual. But I do like the silencer the 2 times on this one. I prefer the 2 times on this one than at the other site, to be honest, because I always have like that mid to very short range fights most of the time, so I prefer the 2 times on it. Sometimes I can change if I feel like having something different, can run like a 3 times, or even just drop on actually a 30 millimeter and run like a 1x6 sometimes, depending on if I'm really wanting to fight from very far. But most of the time it's always going to be my 3 times, or sometimes the 2 times that I'm always going to run. So pretty standard for this one. I don't normally run any other lasers or anything on this sort. I don't really run anything really hard. The grip, nothing to change really on the grip. Isn't nothing else for that. With the barrel, basically, I run short or a long barrel because I'm always in that long fight most of the time, and sometimes the close range fights aren't always as bad. So the MDR is not always loved, but I do like using it when I can. I don't always gunsmith it most of the time, but if I do find it, I definitely don't mind, especially if I have enough coin. I definitely don't mind gunsmithing this one. But this one isn't too bad at first gunsmith, but it isn't hefty when you can end up gunsmithing it. So let's move on to another weapon. Okay, so now moving on to the AUG, one of my other favorite weapons. I do like the AUG a lot, especially in PUBG. So that's why I'm moving over to the guns in Arena Breakout. I do end up liking the AUG. So I have a pretty simple enough build for the AUG. The AUG isn't the and the AUG currently got like a buff too as well. So the AUG is really good. Nothing to write home about. I do at least so like I said. I like running silencers on my guns most of the time. The 2.5, basically I run the 3.5 as it is like the 3 times sight in PUBG. So that's why I have the 3 times sight, and it seems really compact with the 3 times sight. I really like how it looks with 3 times. I can change it most of the time. Sometimes I use like a hollow or the 3 times, but the 3.5 is the one that I really do enjoy a lot on it. So that's why I run the 3.5. But this one, I mainly just change off this is just like the standard sight for it, but I do prefer the 3.5 on it, just changing the sight. But the regular sight on the AUG is not bad. I would use it, especially if you don't have the money for the scope, because the 3.5 scope is a little pricey. So it runs 15k, sometimes even up to 20k. So this sight can definitely be very hard to spend. So the regular AUG on its own is actually really good. I do like I said, always run a 60 round mag most of the time. Even if you're running with a squad, I still prefer to have the 60 round mag. So pretty simple AUG, pretty simple. On the AUG, I do like it. I do like it a lot. It doesn't go too expensive most of the time, 79k. Sometimes it can drop, sometimes it gets a little higher, but most of the time I do enjoy this style build as well. So let's move on to another, and I'm mainly going to be using a lot of airs. I'll probably do another video on the other weapons that I do like, but most of the time these will be all airs. Okay, so moving on to the next weapon, the F2000. This weapon is really good. I do love the F2000. It can get pricey. It can get really pricey, but I do love the F2000. This gun is really good at short range as well as that long to mid range fights as well. Again, running the silencer, again running 2.5. Like I said, I really like this sight a lot. I really do. I switch in between 2 times. They did change the 2 times. The 2 times got like a small little change, but I still like the 2 times sight as well. You can also even run a 4 times if you really want to have that sight. With this one, I run the vertical grip or even the tilt. Like I said, these two are like always my favorite to run. I do like the look of them. You could run, like I said, you can run in between either the vertical grip or the tilt grip. Doesn't really matter. I run the vertical on this one, or depending if I really feel like it, I would run the tilt. This handguard basically is to help with the recoil when it is naked. It's a little harder to control, but you can see here with the vertical recoil and the horizontal recoil, 78 and 71, that's like getting it in between or getting it pretty close is actually really good. But I do like to add a little bit on the ergonomics because it's a little easier, and then I just slap on a grip on it and it works so really well. 50 round mag, always ideal. But this is the build for the F2000. This is my favorite build, and it goes 86. Sometimes the highest I've seen is 90k. But this is really nice build, and I really enjoy the F2000. It's a really solid weapon as well. So let's move on to another one. Okay, so we're on to the Scar, and the Scar gets a little love and sometimes not a lot of love. The reason being is because the Scar doesn't have that high fire rate, only 500 RPM. It's not that great, but I do like the Scar sometimes. I don't mind picking it up most of the time. If I do, and if I do have it, I will use it, but most of the time, I don't really use the Scar as much. But I do like the Scar. The Scar is really the only reason I do like the Scar a lot is because the Scar is very easy to control. That's like the bottom line for the Scar. It's pretty easy to control at a long and a short range fights. I do have it 2 times on this one. I prefer it 2 times on the Scar. Sometimes if I really want to get different, I can use like a hollow or even just a 3 times scope on it. But most of the time, I just run it 2 times on the Scar. It's not too bad. When it comes to the tubes, you can have either the random one or you just add on a tube and just add this one. I like this one just because the Scar is already in like its color already, so I just don't change the scope on it or just change the grip on it or anything. Another 6 round mag silencer. But for the Scar is definitely a weapon that you can really easily control. It does have nice ergo, nice hip fire, nice vertical and horizontal recoil. But the Scar isn't the best weapon that I would pick like hands on. But if I do find it, or if I do decide a gunsmith, and if depending on how I feel on that day to use a gun, the Scar isn't definitely not that one that I would jump to conclusions on using it. But I do like using the Scar as well. So let's move on to another one. Okay, so the last and final assault rifle that I do enjoy using, there are others, but the last and final one there is the AK and the Ace that I do like to use. I'm not the best at actually controlling them, so I don't use them as much. I do need to find a decent enough build for them so that I can actually use them a little bit more. There are others here. There is the Groza, there is the T951 as well as the 203. The T951 is a newer weapon, so I'm still getting used to it as well as the 203. The Groza, I haven't a lot of Groza. I haven't really done like much fashion stuff, so the Groza is a very solid weapon, but I'm lazy and don't feel like doing any more missions. But the Groza is definitely really good as well as the FAMAS. The only thing that lacks on the FAMAS that I've seen is the mag. The Groza does run a 70 round mag, I believe, or a 50 round mag, but the Groza is definitely pretty solid. But the final one that I do enjoy using is the AR-57. This weapon is very solid, and it's just base weapon, no modifications. It's really good. The 69 and the 55 horizontal recoil is very solid, as well as my build. You guys definitely seen a trend with the 3.5 sight a lot. It's really handy. I really like it. I don't know why. I really do enjoy this sight. It's very compatible and it's very easy to use. I definitely don't have any complaints about it as well. So you can see with the vertical and horizontal recoil, 87 and 91, they are really handy. I use the compact for this one. It just seems very fine and compact. I really like it. No point intended with the compact grip. You could run a tilt, or you can run like the triangular scope, or you can even run the vertical one on this one. This one doesn't seem too bad because this one jumps it a little bit more to 1989, which is very solid. But I like running this one, so I switch in between these two depending on if I can control it or not. But I switch in between those two, and they work pretty fine, not gonna lie. I really enjoy this one. I really like this build, and I like the laser just for if I need to hit fire or anything. The sword is really solid. But that is all the guns I have today, basically just showing off ARs. If you want me to show off any of these weapons and these submachine guns, let me know down below. but those are my favorite ARs to use right now. This AR right now is a newer one. I'm just testing out the TS5. This is a faction weapon, so I'm just trying them out just to see how comfortable I am with them. But as of me, if you guys enjoy it, let me know the other weapons builds you want me to show off that I enjoy using. I'll see you guys next time.